got one other personal question here. There's a guy, Big Game Boomer. He's got a Twitter account. He posts all sorts of lists and ratings and rankings. I came across one with offensive coordinators with Kevin Wilson. I don't remember where he was ranked, 7th or 8th, something that you would consider reasonable. He's coming into a 6th season as offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Do you guys have a real good feel for that dynamic between he and Ryan Day and running that offense and how that works between the two of them?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Number 1 in the country in points and yards last year. I think that kind of speaks for itself, and they're going to be in the top 5 again this year, barring a broken leg to somebody who, we won't even say their name. But yeah, I think they're in lockstep with one another on how to attack opposing defenses. And I did think it maybe took them a year or two to kind of get that synergy going. But I think with Kevin Wilson, Ryan Day sees a technician, a guy who can give you the template, give you, the smorgasbord of options to choose from, and prepare a team, nuts and bolts, side to side. And they take what they discuss in the meeting room as concepts and conceptually, and they're able to take it out on the practice field and work on it, and then put it into a game-like situation and execute it. And it obviously helps when you have a Garrett Wilson, a Chris Olave, a C.J. Stroud, a Travion Henderson, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, and Jeremy Ruckert, and a pretty good offensive line with, 4 NFL players as well. So, is everybody on that offense going to play in the NFL from last year? I think, Luke Whippler, if he gets an NFL gig, it may be 11 for 11. So it makes it kind of easy when you've got pros at almost every position. So to me, I think they've built a great rapport, a great working relationship. There are no egos involved with Kevin Wilson. He doesn't have to tell everybody, I masterminded this, I masterminded that. He's happy with what they're paying him. He's got stability. Was he the head coach at Indiana? Yeah. And had he started to build something special at Indiana? Yeah. And then it kind of got pulled out from underneath of him for reasons that people have forgotten or no longer care about. But he landed on his feet, and he's doing really well. I assume he's making 1.5 or more. What was he making as the head coach at Indiana? Maybe 2.5. So he's, not far off from where he was, and doesn't have anywhere near as much responsibility. So, I think that he's happy. I don't know that this is the twilight of his career. If he's burning to be a head coach again somewhere, sometime, if the right opportunity came up, maybe he would take that jump. But I think he and his family are loving it. And his son's on the team at Ohio State. I think he is, what is the best analogy? That, I don't know, happy as a clam, happy as a pig in blank. I don't know, just what. I don't know. Somebody bail me out here. He's very happy in his role from everything I can. And they're selecting. I mean, they're getting the top quarterback in the country almost every year, or top 5 every year. So why wouldn't you be happy about this?
Yeah, and they work really well together, calling games. This is Kevin Wilson, this guy who has been the offensive coordinator at teams with 2 2,000-yard rushers. He did it at Indiana, did it at Ohio State. Has had offenses with 2,000-yard rushers. He also did that at Indiana, but also he's had quarterbacks that threw for 4,000 yards. Did it twice at Ohio State. Did it with Sam Bradford. So he can do any kind of offense that you want. And what he is sometimes is as a reminder to Ryan Day, hey, let's run the ball. Let's keep it on the ground. So he's kind of like the good devil.
He's on the
I don't want to say he's the angel. He's the good devil on Ryan Day's shoulder to remind him, hey, let's get it in there. And so they work really well together, and they know what each other can do. Now this is what their 3rd year going into, or 4th year, whatever, where they just they don't miss a beat anymore. And Kevin Wilson is the offensive coordinator of Ryan Day's team. So he gets there's almost like no outside pressure. Like, when was the last time you heard anybody criticize? Well, it's hard to criticize Ohio State's offense, but if you do, you're going to criticize the offensive line or Ryan Day. You know, it's a soft offense. That goes back to Ryan Day. Like Kevin Wilson, it tells you a lot about him where you really can't have an ego. But I also think after you've been fired from a job or you agreed to leave a job, you sometimes have to recalibrate things like that and reassess where things are. And as Steve said, like, why wouldn't you be happy here? You're getting the best kind of talent you want. You only have to recruit tight ends, basically. Like, you know, you're not working that hard, or you're not being put through the rigors of the recruiting trail like necessarily other coaches are, but you are coordinating an offense. You do have plenty of things to do. And he's a brilliant play caller. Doesn't necessarily call as many plays as he used to with Brian Day, but like, is just a perfect guy to have in your ear and to, like, hey, just to give Ryan Day, like, hey, next play, let's just keep this in mind. And he allows Ryan Day to stay a couple plays ahead because he's doing that for him. And they just, like I said, they mesh really well, and you're seeing the results. And I think you might see even more spectacular results this year.
You would think that offense can score 30 points against anyone. If they score 30 points against Notre Dame, I think you guys could think back to the last time they lost a game when they scored 30 points.
Clemson 2013.
Yeah, that Orange Bowl.
Yep. There it is.